While I've already covered religion in my beginner's guide to Imperator Rome video, which you can find in the playlist below, we're going to look at it under the microscope today. So, religion, what is it in this game and how does it work? It, along with culture, is one of the most important things that you'll have to manage in this game, though I would say this one's easier, though it does have a little more intricacies to it. So, based on how you set up your filters, there is a filter where you can pull up all the different religions in the world. This is a general religion group. You have the Hellenic religions, for example, the Druidic, the Iberic, the Kemetic. They don't interact as much as, say, cultures do. But when you open your religion panel here, you will see the percentage of Hellenic in your country, for example, selecting Rome, and we do also have a very small amount of Jewish. We have different pantheons we can select to worship, only 4 of the total that our religion allows us to have, and we can see things like the power of the omens that we can call down from them and why they are the way they are. So let's look at everything one little bit at a time. So pantheons, those gods you can select to worship, 1 per different category. You have a deity of war, for example. You must pick one of economy, culture, and fertility. These are just examples. And what you will see will be different depending on, again, what religion you are and what religions are in your country. If you do have major minorities of religions, you'll be able to pick non-main state religion options, for example. And different religions can share deities, so you might end up fighting over these sites. And now, why would you fight over these sites? Well, because these bring a lot of benefits. For example, let's look at the Temple of Jupiter over here in Roma. If I click on Roma, we could find the temple right here. It is level 2. Now, why is it level 2? Let's go over that real quick. The Temple of Jupiter in Roma, it provides some buffs to the territory, such as 10% local tax bonus, an extra building slot, and +5 migration attraction. That's pretty good. There's also a 25% bonus to any modifiers from Jupiter, as well as some treasure bonuses. So essentially, the level of a temple is based on the development of the settlement, the territory, where it's in. If it's a settlement with no urban infrastructure, it will be level 1. And you could dedicate holy sites wherever you want, as long as there are some in your religions to dedicate. If it's on a city, it will be level 2. And if you upgrade that to a metropolis, it will become level 3. Bonuses will scale. Your passive bonus is the one that's usually highlighted by default, and then the active one. If we click on a pantheon deity, we can call its omen. You can only change this once every 5 years, so make sure you know what you want when you select which one you pick. So we're going to call Jupiter as an example, and this activated his active bonus, which is a reduction to aggressive expansion. Essentially, passively, just by having him selected in general as one of our deities, he was giving a monthly ruler popularity gain bonus, which was scaling with the level of the temple here, for example, but also from, let's say, the amount of Hellenic we have in our population. You'll see religious unity. It'll show you how many of your population is not or is your main religion, and then the omen power, and then what kind of affects that. So there's a base, just based off of your religious unity, and then other things that can buff that up, such as religious tech and other things you get in religious tech, and monuments in some cases. To take a quick glance at that, at Rome, we have the Great Wonder, the monument, the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, which at tier 1, I believe, is giving a 20% bonus. As it reaches the higher tiers, it will give more and more bonuses, which it will just kind of amass that over time. And since this temple is located in a location we own, see, the rest of these don't even have any holy sites, we can actually put treasures in here, such as one right here, gives 7.5% pop capacity to Rome, because that's where the temple is. As well as this one, which gives pop assimilation speed. Very good for a place that has migration attraction. We'll unlock this 3rd altar slot for a treasure. once we get this to being a metropolis, get this temple to being level 3. The rest of these, again, they don't have holy sites, but you can just dedicate anywhere if you have the resources. That's 300 by default gold and 50 political influence. Dedicate a holy site wherever you want. And then if you decide that you don't want one of these gods, you could just change them. By clicking on this button right here, you can pick any other god that's available in that category in your available religions. Some of them already have a holy site pre-built, and this one, Diana, has one in Capua down here in Rome. So we can see that's another level 2. So if I have selected her for this slot, and I'll show you. Now you don't want to do this willy-nilly because it will take 15 stability away from you, which can make everything go terribly wrong very quickly. But I'll do this for the purpose of showing you. We're going to change that out. Now I've gotten access to another temple that I could put treasures into and provide bonuses to. So I can make assimilation speed go faster there. And I can make the integrated culture happier there as well. It's just as examples. There's more as well. And here's a good example. This one isn't owned by me. It's owned by somebody else. This one is in Delphi, which I believe is in, yes, Boeotia. It's over here in Greece. Delphi, that is where that one is. I'd have to go take that over to own it myself. Or if I was ever in a war with them, I could take an army, for example. Let's raise levies as an example. Go on to the actual territory that has that holy site and then desecrate the holy site to delete it. I can use this feature to delete my own holy sites as well, but the local populations will be unhappy, and countries that worship that religion will be unhappy. But this is the main way you have to move holy sites in the game. Thankfully, quote unquote, other AI will gladly desecrate every holy site they see, so if you're wanting one to free up, keep an eye on the wars of whoever owns the holy site that you're looking at. As you see, we have a 16% bonus here to the happiness of Hellenic pops. The reason for this is because we've picked 4 different Hellenic deities, and these percentages get split between. Because if I was in a different situation like Egypt has, right? Or if you look at the religion there, almost everyone's Kemetic, but there is some Hellenic there because it's run by a Hellenic government because the Empire of Alexander used to be here. The Hellenic and Kemetic pops would be more or less happy based on whose religion has more representation in these pantheon deities. As Rome, it's not really a problem. We don't even have any Jewish deities. We barely have any Jewish pops at all to worry about. But as we expand, we might have some situations with that, with the Druidics, the Canaanites, and then some as we grow as Rome. Though historically, Rome wouldn't have to worry about that stuff until getting a nice foothold in Greece. There are 2 buttons over here to be worried about as well. This is the most important one, Divine Sacrifice. You should realistically make sure you have at least level 1 of this activated at all times. The base cost is 50, but certain things can modify it. If I run this like so, I have now added to my nation overview here, Divine Sacrifices for the next 5 years. This will add a monthly stability change that will bring it more positive. Your stability will change kind of on a pendulum that always wants to be at 50%. Little modifiers like this is how you can get it back to 50% faster if you're under, like we are right now, or stop it from going back to 50% if you're over. However, every time you do this, it becomes twice as expensive in that 5-year period. So if I try to do this again, it's going to be twice the price. If I really needed to do this again, the way to min-max this would be to wait like 4 years and 11 months and do it then, because it would reset the timer. So I would essentially get the most amount of time for my money with having these divine sacrifices activated. The reason why you might want to do it a second time is because not only would the costs double, but the effect would double. And if you drag that through a number of years, that would be the min-max effect. There's also Invoking Devotio. This is, I feel, a weird thing to have in religion, but it is here, so I will explain it. Just spend 2 tyranny, not that you have to have tyranny, it'll give you 2 tyranny, and you'll lose monthly war exhaustion, which is a good thing. And this can get more expensive as well, and it works the same exact way as Divine Sacrifice, just instead of granting you stability, it will delete war exhaustion, which is useful if you're using levy heavy armies. or using legions that are just getting their butts beat all the time. Now, looking at what's remaining on this screen, we have the Holy Sites button. This button will allow you to see every holy site in your nation. If you click, you can actually see more about them specifically here, including some flavor text, and it'll kind of give you some basic explanations. You can manage your treasures here, and you can even desecrate it right from here. Bonus you can only really do if you directly own it. You won't need to like send your soldiers there, but still it is desecrating, and there are the same problems as desecrating any other holy site. You can also look in your reliquary to see all of the treasures that are located in your reliquary. If you click on them, you can get, once again, more details, mostly some flavor text really, but also you can see where they are located if, you know, this wasn't enough. As you get a lot of holy sites, I guess this could become confusing to look at, and they do give you some tools to look over them with. If you have taken over a location that does not have Hellenics in it, and you want to convert them, you might want to consider going into your provinces and changing your government policy here to religious conversion. It would boost up conversion on that specific location. There are other things as well, such as a great temple, which you must unlock with the technology Open Religion, for example, in this case, that would grant a base conversion speed to religion just all the time. It's a very useful building for that. It also makes same state religion happiness go up. So Hellenic in our case, Hellenic in Egypt's case as well, unless they ever swapped their main religion to Kemetic. And nations to which that would concern usually get events for managing that as well. Otherwise, normal settlements don't really have a lot of easy ways to handle that, but in the cities there is also the library where you could stack some conversion speed, and of course it's also located in the tech tree as well, and of course that's all going to be under religious advances. There's a lot of really useful things under religious advances, and do remember from our research guide that you can take innovations research from any tech tree and put it into religious advances if you wanted to. It just turns into a generic innovation that you can apply wherever you want. If you're on this religious map mode and you zoom in, you could also just kind of see where a lot of relevant holy sites are for the Hellenics, for example. Or I could even go and see of others, and I can also kind of see what treasures are there and what they're giving if I ever wish to maybe take it over and get this kind of stuff for myself. There are also some missions you can get, depending on what nation you're playing and what your situation is, that can give you opportunities to get some nice bonuses that assist with religious conversion as well. And then in addition to that, you might want to look at religions based on the bonuses they give. For example, if you are playing a Zoroastrian, then you can actually reduce your legion maintenance cost by 5%. If you are playing a Hellenic, your citizens will be happy. That's very good for your score. It's a very similar situation to culture, but it is its own thing. It's distinct in some ways, but if you understand culture, then hopefully you should understand this. And I hope this guide has been helpful to your understanding. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If there are any more guides you'd like to see me make, leave those suggestions in the comments below as well. I'm hoping to help inform you guys about every little bit and bob that is involved in playing this game. For now, though, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next one.